Good afternoon, respected champers, uncles, aunties, and my dear friends. Today I'm going to talk about New Year and share my thoughts and opinions on it. But before I start, I would like to reflect on last year. Last year, as I was doing this very same speech, I asked you all a question. Now, my first question before I ask this is, do any of you actually remember this speech I asked you? Okay, I'm disappointed to hear that's a no, but okay, I don't mind. As I'm a rather generous person, I'm going to remind you of that question to jog your memory. The question I asked last year was, are you happy? Are you happy? I'm glad to hear that you are happy. So you have taken my advice and read John. I am proud to see that spiritually I can now see you are happy. And now God up there will be happy now to hear this reply. Now I'm going to go into what I'm going to talk about this year. This year I'm going to talk about a few things. But the first one I'm going to aim mainly at one of us who are older. As out of us who are older here, we may have remembered that as we are younger, we used to believe Santa was real. Am I correct in saying this? And it was a disappointment to you in your childhood when you later found out he wasn't real. Am I true about this too? However, I am back telling you some special news. He is actually real. But he's not the cute, cuddly, fictional character we all know and now. He is actually a bishop and he goes by the name of Saint Nicholas. Have any of you heard of Saint Nicholas before? Great to hear. But for those who haven't, I'm going to tell of his story. Back ago, when in Turkey, around the 16th century, lived a boy. His parents had died young, so he was left with a big inheritance of money. However, down his street, there were some people who weren't as lucky. Those people, they just gone into debt. This means they had no money, and they had to sell their 3 daughters into slavery to get rid of this. Unfortunately, as they couldn't do anything about it, they had to know that they couldn't escape the inevitable. So that night, the first daughter washed her stockings and put them by the fire, knowing that the next day she would have to leave what she called her home. But the next morning, she gets up and she sees a bump in her stockings. She takes out the stockings and takes the bump out, and to her surprise, there's a bag of gold in it. Now, she was surprised to see this, so she ran and told her father, now she's safe from slavery. However, the other 2 are unlucky. So that night, the middle daughter washed her stockings and put them by the fire too, and she went to sleep. However, the next morning, she woke up and she too had a bag of gold hidden in her stockings. She was surprised at this. So that night, the youngest daughter decided to do the same thing. However, there was a twist. As their father heard of 2 stories, he decided that night he's going to stay up to see who their mysterious benefactor was. So, as he stayed up that night, he wasn't unfortunately lucky enough, and he almost fell asleep, but just in time, because he fell asleep to all of a sudden hear a sound of whoosh. And he suddenly gets up and he sees a bag of gold flying through their open window. He looks through and he sees that boy, the rich one who lived down the street, and he says, thank you. However, what he says in return is shocking. He says, I don't want no thanks. And the reason for this is because I don't want to do this to gain thanks. I'm not doing this for my benefit, but for yours. And I'm saying this story not because I want to revive that spirit, but it's because I want to teach you to adapt his example, and to adapt the fact that he was a very generous person, so that you too can learn from his generosity and help others in the future. As human beings, we take it in our nature to find it better to give, to find it better to receive than to give. However, we should learn that as hard as it may feel, we should learn to give generosity, give gifts. It may be hard to do at first. However, inside and outside, we will see that later on, we will show that we're not guilty, but we are happy of the change we have made. And I hope that someday you will adapt to his example, and you will help one of your peers or one of your others in a way that will benefit them. And if they ask for thanks, then say no. It isn't because I want you to be sad about it. It's because you have to understand that up there's a bigger reward waiting that is bigger than thanks. Any thanks that any man or woman could give to you. Now I'm going to talk to the younger generations. As we all know, we are all naughty. We are human beings and that is our nature. We can't obviously avoid it. But what we can avoid is hiding that naughtiness. Even me, I hope firstly that you made your resolutions. Resolutions are important things. I know many people have heard of New Year's resolutions. They never heard of resolutions alone. Because it's 20 days past New Year's, yes. But you can still make a resolution now. So I'd like you to take the time and effort, either during this program or after this program, to think to yourself, have I made my resolutions? If the answer to that is no, then think, should I make a resolution this year? Think about yourself. What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? How can I improve on my weaknesses in such a way that it is achievable, and that by the end of this year I can look back and say, I achieved on that. Now I can see I am a better person. I hope that many of you will take that time and that effort to pursue a resolution that will be fit for you. Now, returning to the thing that I was originally talking about, many of us as human beings are naughty, but what we should learn to do is not hide that naughtiness. Because I know it's hard to tell our parents, yes, I may have stolen something, or yes, I may have lied to you about something, or etc. But then as children, we have to learn that we have to tell our parents so that in the future we don't have to bear that guilt. Because would you rather tell your parents now so that in the future you don't even need to remember it? Or would you hide it from your parents so that when you're 22, all you can see to remember was when you were 6 and you lied to your parents? No, you should not do that. You should tell your parents now so that in the future you won't have to reminisce over your past failures. So, if any of you here are bad, don't worry. Everyone here isn't perfect, even I. Because I am an example of making a resolution and failing one. However, that doesn't mean that being naughty isn't an excuse. No, we have to try and avoid it as much as we could. However, when the inevitable happens, just try not to hide it. That's all I have to say to you for now. But now to conclude my speech, I hope everyone will have a prosperous new year, and I hope that you will make your resolutions and read the Bible every day. That is one suggestion from me. Thank you for listening.